Can you believe that Belly is out there living her best life in Paris with a brand new boyfriend while Conrad is still writing her love letters and Jeremiah is busy spiraling into chaos? I mean, how messy can one love triangle get before someone finally loses their mind? Now let's dive into what this finale is really setting us up for. Because if you thought the Paris storyline was just about Belly sipping wine and smiling on French rooftops, think again. The truth is, this girl is not just exploring croissants and Eiffel Tower selfies. She is testing how far she can run from her past before it catches up with her. And you and I both know it's going to catch up, big time. The crazy part? Belly actually looks like she belongs in Paris. With new friends, French roommates, and even this charming little romance blooming, it feels like she has stepped into someone else's life. A life where the Fisher boys are nothing but distant memories. But here's the kicker. No matter how much she laughs, no matter how many Paris streets she wanders, you can still sense that little ache, that gnawing feeling in her chest that says, "You're not done with Conrad, you're not done with Jeremiah, and you are definitely not done with Cousins Beach." And honestly, can we blame her? Because while she's pretending to move on, Conrad is literally packing his bags with letters in hand, ready to fly across the ocean like some kind of desperate, hopeless romantic hero. You can laugh at him, you can call him crazy, but let's be honest. Isn't this exactly the type of love gesture we all secretly dream of? Meanwhile, Jeremiah isn't handling heartbreak with half as much dignity. Instead, he's distracting himself in every possible way, like someone who thinks you can drown heartbreak in hookups. Spoiler alert, you can't. But here's where it gets wild. Belly's Paris boyfriend, let's just say it, he's cute, he's sweet, he's charming, but he's also basically a stand-in. You feel it, I feel it, Belly feels it. He's not Conrad. He's not Jeremiah. He's just a band-aid slapped over a wound that was always going to bleed again. Because you don't just walk away from years of tangled love and family drama like it's nothing. You don't just forget letters that were written to you in the dead of night. And you definitely don't just erase the boy who would cross an ocean to find you. So yes, Belly might be sipping coffee with her Paris fling right now, but the ghosts of Conrad and Jeremiah are walking those streets with her, whether she admits it or not. And the finale? Oh, it's about to force her to face every single ghost she tried to outrun. Because the question is no longer, will she choose Conrad or Jeremiah? The real question is, what happens when both boys show up in her Paris life at the same time? And trust me, that's exactly where things are headed. But before we get there, you have to ask yourself, is Belly truly moving on? Or is she just setting herself up for the biggest heartbreak of her life? The more you look at Belly's so-called new chapter in Paris, the more it feels like smoke and mirrors. Yes, on the surface, she is living the ultimate dream. Independent, adventurous, building a fresh life without the constant shadow of the Fisher family drama hanging over her. But beneath the glossy pictures and cheerful phone calls home, there is a quiet storm brewing. Every voicemail she leaves for Laurel carries that subtle ache, that tiny crack in her voice that says, "I'm still not okay." And if you have ever tried to outrun your own heartbreak, you know exactly what this feels like. The city can be different, the people can be new, but the ache is always the same. Belly has become the perfect example of how distance never solves the problem. It only delays the explosion. At the same time, Jeremiah is on the opposite side of the spectrum, and it is almost painful to watch. He is not in Paris. He is not reinventing himself. He is not discovering who he truly is. He is self-destructing. With every meaningless hookup, every party, every fake laugh, Jeremiah is digging himself into a deeper hole. You would think that the boy who once believed so strongly in love would have found a healthier way to cope. But no. He is numbing his heart, and in doing so, he is making himself almost unrecognizable. His anger at Conrad has cooled just enough to let bitterness seep in. And that bitterness is dangerous, Because unlike Belly, who hides her hurt behind smiles, Jeremiah wears his pain like armor, daring anyone to try and break through. And then there is Conrad. Oh, Conrad. The boy who refuses to let go, even when every sign points toward moving on. He has tried burying his love. He has tried hiding it. But nothing works, and so he does the one thing we never expected. He writes. Letter after letter, pages filled with the kind of raw, unfiltered emotion that only Conrad can put into words. This is not just nostalgia. It's not just teenage heartbreak. This is a man fighting for what he believes is his one true love. And let's be honest, in a world where everyone seems to run the second things get complicated, there is something both beautiful and terrifying about someone who holds on this tightly. But here's the question that lingers over every line he writes. Is it love, or is it obsession? Meanwhile, Belly's Paris romance continues to blossom in the most predictable way. Her new boyfriend, charming as he may be, is basically the embodiment of a rebound. He makes her laugh, he makes her feel wanted, he distracts her from the ghosts of the past. But distractions never last. When the rush fades, when the silence creeps in at night, Belly still finds herself replaying moments from Cousin's Beach, still hearing Conrad's voice in the back of her mind, still feeling Jeremiah's heartbreak shadowing her every step. This boy might be real, but the love story he represents? It's paper thin compared to the history she carries with the Fishers. And so, as the finale looms, the stage is being set for the kind of showdown that only this series can deliver. Belly thinks she has escaped. Conrad thinks he can win her back. And Jeremiah thinks he has lost everything. But what happens when they are all proven wrong? What happens when Belly realizes that you cannot outrun the past? When Conrad learns that grand gestures are not always enough? And when Jeremiah finally understands that love is not about winning or losing, but about letting go? The truth is, this story was never just about Belly choosing between two brothers. It was about whether any of them could grow beyond the tangled mess of first love, betrayal, and heartbreak. And yet, here we are, about to witness all three collide in Paris, the city of love, where every emotion will be amplified, every decision magnified, and every heartbreak exposed under the brightest lights. So brace yourself, because the finale is not just going to ask the question of who Belly loves, it is going to demand an answer. But the real twist? What if the answer isn't Conrad or Jeremiah at all? What if the real shock is that Belly finally chooses herself? Wouldn't that flip everything upside down?